I think at this point we have kind of a different presentation. Joshua's specialty, he started collecting old cameras, and he got interested in the combat photographers of World War II. And interestingly enough, the past year, he was really fortunate enough to meet an actual combat photographer who has recently written a book. I don't think you have that book yet, do you? Not yet. Anyway, he's gotten real interested in it, and he's got quite a large array of cameras, and I think I'll let him take it away from here. And for our unit, he always takes the pictures, and he has a great photo album here. I encourage you to come up afterwards and take a look. And he's great with Photoshop too, so some of these pictures might look exactly like World War II, but they were present day. So without further ado, we'll let Joshua take it away.
Hi, I portray a U.S. Army Signal Corps combat photographer. A soldier whose weapon of war is the camera. I'm a member of 167th Signal Photo Company, one of the many Signal Corps units that operate somewhat independently and whose members are assigned and needed to photograph every aspect of the war, from frontline action to rear area routine. Currently I'm assigned to the 9th Infantry Division with these guys, one of the U.S. Army's most experienced combat formations. Because I'm a soldier first and a photographer second, all of my material is subject to military censorship, letting the government decide what photographs and information will be released to the public. Civilian reporters, photographers, film crews, and even artists also must have their work approved by the War and Navy departments before the public sees it. And like me, civilian journalists can be prosecuted and sent to prison for violating these rules. Every photo or frame of moving picture film that I take is sent back to London, developed, studied for content, and sent to Washington to be screened again for use, distributed as needed, and finally archived in the records there. Sometimes before a photo is released, a censor will use a pencil or a pen to stretch out things we don't want the enemy to see, such as a shoulder patch of a particular unit, or a clear view of a new weapon, or other sensitive information. Signal Corps photographers are issued the same uniforms other soldiers wear, only our equipment is a bit different. In addition to our photo gear, most of us carry a pistol for protection, such as the one here, and a rifle, carbine, like this, if necessary. We try to keep out of the way, in and out of combat, so we won't attract attention, so that we can get candid, realistic shots. On the table here, I have my arsenal of cameras. Now, before you think, well, it's a lot of cameras for one guy to carry, one photographer would not carry all these cameras. Each photographer is issued one camera at a time. If he is a still photographer, he would be issued with the 4x5 speed graphic, or on some occasions the Kodak 35. The speed graphic used film that came in sheets about the quarter of a size of a piece of paper. The film would be loaded into one of these, and then when he was ready to take the photo, he would insert it into the back of the camera, remove the slide, and he would focus it, my rangefinder here, and then he would shoot the picture. If he's a movie or motion picture photographer, he would be issued with the 35mm IMO camera, which is a larger version of the camera I have here. The film came on a spool. It had to be loaded into the camera, like that. And when he was ready to take some footage, he would wind it and shoot. Now, which photographer do you think would have the harder job? Still? Let me ask you a different question. Which photographer do you think would have the more dangerous job?
Still
The still photographer could be in a foxhole and just jump up and take a picture. But the movie photographer had to stand there for about a minute and a half and while under enemy fire, and that wouldn't be good. Also, I have some examples of German cameras here. This one's an example of a Rolleiflex. It was focused top down here. This one's an example of a Leica. Typical German over-engineering. And last but not least, I have a French-made spy camera here. It's one of the smallest cameras of the World War II period, but by today's standards, when we can have a camera in our cell phone, it's pretty big. Any questions?